today on Inquirer. Janice Degamo says she plans to make public a video of her slain husband, Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo, saying that the Teves brothers were sources of threats to his life. President Bongbong Marcos orders DFA to ensure safety of overseas Filipino workers in Taiwan. Following the Senate's ocular inspection, Senator Nancy Binay says she is now totally against the plans of the Bureau of Corrections to build a new headquarters within the Masungi Georeserve.
Iko-convince ko din, lalong-lalo na yung seatmates ko na mag-hiking kami dito para makita nila na may ganitong lugar na kailangan natin protektahan.
And Filipinos warned against juice-jack attacks, where free charging stations are used to hack a user's device. Good evening. Pamplona Mayor Janice Degamo says she plans to make public a video of her husband, Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo, saying the Teves brothers were threatening his security. In a television interview, Degamo says suspended Negros Oriental Representative Arnie Teves and his younger brother, former Negros Oriental Governor Henry Teves, were, quote, sources of threats to Roel's life. When asked about where the slain governor got such information, the Pamplona local chief said her husband was receiving intelligence reports about the threats to his life. INQUIRER.net has reached out to Arnolfo Teves' legal counsel to seek a comment from the Teves brothers, but has received no response so far. Meanwhile, Senator Alberto Dela Rosa denies accusations that he is favoring the Teves family, saying he is not a lapdog of the controversial political clan. Dela Rosa is currently leading the Senate Public Order Panel's inquiry into the brazen murder of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo and other political killings in the country. Suspended Negros Oriental Representative Arnie Teves is tagged as the key orchestrator in the killing of Degamo and 8 others in Pamplona, Negros Oriental last March 4.
I would answer that allegation na hindi po ako kaya bayaran kahit gaano kayaman ni Teves, hindi po kaya bayaran ako ng kahit sino man. So yun po ang aking disclaimer. Hindi po ako nababayaran, hindi po ako naging tuta, at hindi po ako related sa mga Teves for full disclosure purposes.
In a related development, Interior Secretary Benher Abalos says he would personally oversee the safety of Arnie Teves once he decides to return to the country and face the allegations against him. According to De La Rosa, Teves reasoned that he was under threat and might get killed if he returned to the country. For his part, Abalos says he would coordinate with the Philippine National Police to ensure the congressman's safety. Senator Nancy Binay says she is now totally against the Bureau of Corrections' plans to build its new headquarters within the Masungi Georeserve in Rizal Province. Zacarian Sarao has the report.
After conducting a Senate ocular inspection at the Masungi Georeserve in Rizal, Senator Nancy Binay on Tuesday said that she is now totally against the Bureau of Corrections' plans to build its new main headquarters and facilities at the Masungi Conservation Area. Binay, during the ocular inspection, immediately noted that constructing any kind of buildings in the said area is impossible.
Una ko nakita, paano magtatayo yung bilibid dito, di ba? Yung cost lang, puros bangin. Alangan naman nila na putulin nila yung bundok para tayuan ng kulungan. So, space-wise, parang yung lupa dito sa Masungi, hindi siya ideal to construct whether it's a bilibid or anong facility, parang hindi akop dun sa terrain ng lupa.
To recall, BuCor in February 2023 asserted its ownership of 270 hectares of the Masungi Georeserve, citing Proclamation No. 1158 by then-President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo in 2006. The BuCor even floated its plans to build its facilities in the landscape of quote-unquote Lot 10, which contains the main rock spine of the Masungi's limestone karst formation. When asked on what the Senate will do to address the issue, Binay said that it would now have to study its next moves.
Siguro isa yan din sa pag-aaralan natin, whether ilipat or use of frac. Because, diba, at the end of the day, ang NBP naman is still part of government. So technically, this is still government property.
This is Zaharian Sarao reporting for INQUIRER.net.
Former Foreign Affairs Secretary Albert del Rosario passed away on Tuesday, April 18. The longtime diplomat's daughter broke the news of his passing in a statement sent to Inquirer. In a social media post, the Department of Foreign Affairs incumbent chief Enrique Manalo extends his condolences to the bereaved family of Del Rosario. Del Rosario sat at the helm of the DFA from 2011 to 2016 under the administration of the late and former President Benigno Aquino III. It was under his watch that the Philippines first elevated to an international court its complaint against China for violating the country's rights over the disputed West Philippine Sea. This led to the historic 2016 arbitral ruling in favor of the Philippines, which junked China's sweeping claims in the South China Sea. Del Rosario had staunchly called on President Bongbong Marcos to, quote, consistently raise before the United Nations the 2016 landmark ruling on the West Philippine Sea. An official says President Bongbong Marcos has ordered the Department of Foreign Affairs to ensure the safety and welfare of overseas Filipino workers in Taiwan amid tension between the self-ruled island and China. DFA Undersecretary Eduardo de Vega says the president wants to assure other nations that the Philippines has no intention to launch offensive military actions. De Vega adds that there is, quote, no need to make statements that make it appear our OFWs are being targeted. This comes after Chinese Ambassador Wang Xilian claimed that the safety and welfare of 150,000 OFWs in Taiwan might be jeopardized if Manila does not unequivocally oppose Taiwan's independence. De Vega assures the public that the government has put in place contingency measures in nations like Taiwan where there are high concentrations of OFWs. The Department of Health says the government is not considering the return of the face mask mandate amid the rising COVID-19 cases in the country. In a press briefing, DOH Officer in Charge Maria Rosario Vergeres still reminds the public to wear masks even without the mask mandate.
Consider na ibalik po ang masking mandate. Ang sa atin lang, galing po sa kagawaran ng kalusugan, we encourage everybody kahit naman po noon na tayo po ay piliin natin na alam natin kung kailan tayo magmamask, lalong-lalo na po kung ito po ay isang lugar na matao, ang lugar po ay pangit ang ventilasyon, kayo po ay senior citizens, kayo po ay may comorbidity, maari rin po sa ating mga kabataan pag pumapasok sila sa eskwela.
The DOH reports on Tuesday that the country's COVID-19 positivity rate increased to 7.6%. The World Health Organization recommends a 5% threshold to indicate that the transmission of the virus is under control. Next on Inquirer Today. Pagasa says probability of El Niño occurrence now at 80%. Filipinos warned against juicejack attacks where free charging stations are used to hack a user's device. And J-Hope of BTS begins mandatory military service. This is Inquirer Today. We'll be back shortly.
This map of the Philippines has gone viral. But what's so special about it? Through this map, you can find out what travel level you are in based on the provinces you have already been to.
My name is Denz Del Villar, and I'm a software engineer. I'm based in Singapore, so I'm in Singapore right now. And I was the one who created the My Philippines travel level map app. Yung inspiration nito is I saw the Japanese travel map version. Some I think web developer also did it. I saw this back in way like 2019, and back then I just finished living and working in Japan. Kind of had a lot of travels in Japan, and I tried the Japanese map, and it was so cool. And I thought, oh, baka pwede gawin din to sa Philippines. So, yung Philippines Travel Level app, it will show you a map of the Philippines divided into the 83 provinces, which includes Metro Manila. And all you have to do is to tap on each province and choose the level of travel that you have experienced there. So, merong iba-ibang levels. Yung highest level is yung live there, if tumira ka doon. And then yung lowest score, yung 0, is you have never been there. And it's an indicator na you have to experience going there.
Despite being a software engineer, Dance did not have any background in web development. In building the map, he had a special kind of teacher, AI.
I was on a layover, was going to Turkey for a holiday. And then parang naisipan ko na why don't I use ChatGPT to help me create this app, to help me learn web development, and at the same time create this Philippines version of the travel map. So meron kaming mga long bus trips na sobrang boring. So ginagawa ko, nagko-code ako sa loob ng bus, ganun. Tapos tinetest ko, ganun. So ayun, sinimulan ko siya, and then I put up the site, and then I shared it on my Instagram stories, and then my friends quickly picked it up. And then I also shared it on Reddit, and then the fellow Redditors found it cool, and then they shared it on their own social media sites. Until ayon, sumabog na siya. Na-pick up na ni McCoy Dubs, ni DP Lenny, and then ayun, naging viral.
Being a travel junkie himself is one of Dance's inspirations in building his DIY map.
So I think as a millennial, nasa DNA yata ang wanderlust sa amin. Although, sadly, mababa yung level ko sa Philippines travel level. I'm only on 62. And I think it's because soon after university, naging OFW na ako. For me naman, I think it's a wake-up call na kailangan ko pa talagang bisitahin ng maraming lugar sa Philippines. I try to look at all the other people's posts about the app, like the stories that they share, like why they have traveled that at that level, or why they haven't traveled at that level. So I'm looking at a lot of them, and I appreciate the stories behind them.
The occurrence of an El Nino phenomenon this year has become more likely, according to the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration. Pagasa Deputy Administrator Esperanza Cayanan says the probability of an El Nino occurrence has increased from 55% to 80% in June, July, August, and September. According to Pagasa, El Nino is characterized by unusually warmer than average sea surface temperatures in the central and eastern equatorial Pacific. As an effect, below normal rains are expected, which can cause dry spells and droughts in several areas of the country. Pagasa is poised to issue an El Nino alert next month.
From El Nino Watch, by next month, May, we will be issuing the second level, which is El Nino Alert, kung saan meron po tayong above 70% of probability of El Nino occurrence for the next 2 months.
Bureau, however, clarifies that before the looming onset of an El Nino, the Philippines will first experience a rainy season. Cayanan warned that heavy rainfalls may occur before the onset of the phenomenon.
From previous experience po natin, pwede po tayo maka-experience ng extreme rainfall event, kagaya po ng isang example nung Ondoy noong 2009, wherein nagkaroon po kasi tayo ng El Nino 2009-2010. Pero bago natin naramdaman yung kakulangan sa tubig, naka-experience po tayo ng extreme events.
Filipinos are warned against using USB ports at free charging stations in public places, as they may fall victim to juicejack attacks, where hackers illegally access a user's device. Cybersecurity company Palo Alto Networks explains that the juicejacking occurs when malicious actors embed malicious software or malware into charging stations and activate data transfer through the USB cables to infect connecting devices. The malware tricks the users into providing access to the device, allowing attackers to look into sensitive information, including bank account and credit card details. However, according to Palo Alto's Vice President and Regional Chief Security Officer for Asia Pacific and Japan, Sean Duca, users have the power to deflect such attacks by not clicking on permissions to allow suspicious software from being installed. He then reminds Filipinos to always consider the potential risks before allowing mobile applications to run on devices. 3 senators urged for a fair consideration of the proposed divorce law as several measures remain pending in the Senate. Senate Committee on Women head Senator Risa Ontiveros recognizes the need for the Senate to pick up speed, noting that the House of Representatives has already approved in principle several measures that provide for the dissolution of marriage. She notes that aside from the Vatican, the Philippines is the only country that doesn't have divorce. She makes the remark shortly before her committee convened to deliberate on several measures proposing the dissolution of marriage or the introduction of a divorce law in the Philippines. Senators Rafi Tulfo and Robin Padilla also underscored the importance of the measure. According to Tulfo, the absence of a divorce law, quote, creates a difficult situation for Filipinos, citing countless persons stuck in a toxic or unproductive marriage. He adds that legalizing divorce is pro-poor and non-intrusive to religious beliefs because no one will be forced to use it. Padilla agrees that it's time to try the divorce law, saying a democratic community should evolve and not be stagnant. Czech Republic Prime Minister Petr Fiala says his government is considering giving Filipinos more opportunities to migrate to his country for work. Fiala on Monday issued a statement in a joint press briefing with President Bongbong Marcos after their bilateral meeting in Malacanang.
We also highly appreciate the Philippine system of the recruiting workers for work in other countries. Czech companies are very satisfied with Philippine citizens. We are discussing the possibilities to expand migration for work.
Fiala also recalled his country's relationship with the Philippines, which he said had been existing for a long time, even before the two nations entered bilateral ties. Fiala is currently on a 10-day business trip to Asia, with the Philippines as his first stop. He is the first European head of state to come here since Marcos assumed the presidency last year.
Jose Rizal and Czech professor Ferdinand Blumentritt were friends long before that. Our soldiers also defended Manila side by side during the Second World War, and I am proud that Czech people helped the Philippines win their freedom. Philippines is the starting point of my 10-day Asian tour. It shows that your country and your region are very important for the Czech Republic.
For my fellow armies out there, J-Hope of BTS begins his mandatory military service on Tuesday, April 18. The K-pop star bid his fans farewell as he showed off his buzz cut a day before his enlistment through his Instagram page. In a social media post, BTS members posed with J-Hope as they sent him off to the military. J-Hope is the second member of BTS to enlist in the military. The group's oldest member, Jin, began his service last December. Alamin naman natin ang mainit na balita sa mundo ng showbiz kasama si Irvin Santiago ng Bandera. Irvin?
Hi Will at sa lahat ng mga kabandera natin all over the universe. Ito na nga ang latest Bandera Chika. Siniguro ni Carla Estrada na walang issue sa pagitan nila ni Ami Perez sa gitna ng pangiintriga sa kanila dahil sa pagbabalik ng programang face-to-face sa TV5. Pinagsasabong kasi ng ilang netizens ang dalawa dahil nga si Chang Ami pa rin daw ang gusto nilang mag-host ng bagong version ng tinaguriang talakan serye na face-to-face. Si Ami ang original host ng naturang show at kalaunan ay pinalitan ni Jelly de Belen hanggang sa tuluyan na nga itong magpaalam sa ere ilang taon na ngayon ang nakararaan. May mga bashers na nagsasabing ayaw nila kay Carla bilang host ng face-to-face pero marami rin ang nagkomento na best choice ang nanay ni Daniel Padilla para sa nasabing show. Ayon kay Carla, personal niyang pinuntahan si Chang Ami para hingin ang blessing nito at in fairness naman daw sa kapamilya actress, talagang binigyan pa siya nito ng ilang tips na maaaring makatulong sa kanya bilang host ng Face to Face. Kaya naman sa lahat ng nambabash at nang-ookray kay Carla, sorry na lang daw kayo dahil wala siyang kabalak-balak na pumatol.
Pinuntahan ko siya sa bahay niya at nakipag-usap ako at humingi ako ng advice dahil of course, si Chang Ami naman talaga ay inumpisahan niya ito. Diba? So sabi niya, umpisahan mo yung bago, umpisahan mong ikaw, huwag mong umpisahan ako. Pero ito ang magaganda dyan, ito yung dapat relax ka lang, kumalma ka. So marami kami pinag-usapan. But at the end of the day, maganda ang aming, tinapos namin ng masaya, tinapos namin ng maganda ang aming usapan bilang magkamag-anak.
At yan ang Bandera Chika natin today. Thanks, Neil!
Maraming salamat, Irvin. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Catch Inquirer Today live weekdays at 6 p.m. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.